Hello and welcome to Critical Reroll, the podcast for the critters by the critters, where we talk about our favorite D&D show, Critical Role. I am your host, one of your hosts, Dusty. I don't like cupcakes except for the frosting.
I'm Kate. I am another one of your hosts, and I do love cupcakes. And my favorite way to eat a cupcake is to rip off the bottom and put it on the top, and you make a little cupcake sandwich. And this way, you get a better icing to cake ratio. Try it.
And I'm Ben, and I'm the third one of your hosts, and I agree fully and wholeheartedly with Kate here because the best cupcake is made into a sandwich. And we can debate the definition of a sandwich all you want, but I know that Kate and I are right. So
Just eat the frosting and throw the rest away.
just
Yeah.
the frost.
So, I mean, my friends gave me a cake the other day. I just ate some of the frosting and then
Is that all you ate?
cake. You heard it here first, guys. But you know what I do like that's not cake? Well,
Kate.
Kate. Yes, I do like Kate. But also Critical Role, which also Mika Burton, because
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I saw her for the first time at D&D Live, and I loved, and then I was like, wait, what? Because then I found out like who her father is and all that stuff. I was like, oh, okay. But anyway,
What was that noise? Can you
wah!
do
Good.
Welcome to this, where we talk about the show that stuff happened in. Lots of things happened, but it was another one of those things where they just went around and did things, which the Mighty Nine does a lot.
They progressed a lot of like individual things and then like kind of came together at the end to actually do something, but all of those things kind of led to that final like 15 minutes of show.
Yes, and we'll talk about all of those things that led up to that thing right now.
Will we?
Yes.
I don't know what we will. So I
All the things?
missed the first half and
Well, you
Mika's
missed
introduction.
Laura loving Amika so much because of the
Oh,
bag of dice. Like Mika just went, "Pff," and all the dice went
Ah,
everywhere, and Laura was like, "Oh my god!" Laura gave her
I
the biggest hug, and it was amazing.
I've never seen a character loved so hard by the party so early, so much that people were questioning whether this was like real or if they were actually dead, and somehow a mixture of all six of them like popped into the existence. Because that's
really?
basically
Yeah, she was adorable from the beginning. So recap real quick: Rini is an Asimar. She has brown skin and golden freckles and eyes and a halo and long white hair, and I love her. I love her. She is so sweet. And she is a druid, as we find out. No circle was specifically mentioned, but we're assuming possibly moon.
for reasons
Because
that we'll probably
for
get into later.
for her love of animals.
Yes.
Um, and she is just the most adorable thing since probably Twiggy. Um,
Twiggy was pretty adorable. I mean,
Though
when I
I
finally
was
came
thinking,
into it, I was very into. I was like, oh, I like this. I like this character.
yes, I I have to say though, while Rini and Twiggy were both very adorable characters, based on what we've seen, they may not get along very well with Rini's moral code.
Rini has a
yes.
very defined moral code, which the Mighty Nine do not have.
Nope, not at all.
Not at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
And
Except for Caduceus. I would say Caduceus is
okay,
his own.
this whole episode, Taliesin RPing Caduceus as being super happy that someone else with some sort of moral guidance
Yes.
can help these idiots move along in a semi-straight path. I just love how he's like, finally, some voices of reason. Like we've been trying to steer this boat but it seems to be more like a train in that it only
With no
goes in
tracks.
one direction. Chaos.
Chaos is what they do. So,
But Rini is from this town, or has lived.
Now she's
Well,
been here
yeah,
for 5 years.
she's lived here for
For
a
5 years.
good length of time, so she has connections and contacts, and this is a good person for the Mighty Nine to meet and help them with their information gathering, because the last time we had left them, they had to get Ice Flex to help try to think the surname of the forge.
oh, uh,
Stone something. I
Sundu.
have my notes in front of me.
Sundu it was the perfect dwarf last name, and now I can't remember it. For the Star Razor, but they need the guy who was going to do the blacksmith.
Umagorn's
Oh.
daddy.
Yes, Umi's daddy.
Smeltborn.
Smeltborn.
Thank you. Both Smeltborn. God,
Yes.
I couldn't remember that.
We're good at this.
We are. We're so professional at this. That's why we're such a big podcast.
Yeah.
They needed Iceflex to help reforge Star Razor, and the only way you get Iceflex is Mithril being exposed to White Dragon Flame is the ice. Well, I guess it's not flame, but White Dragon Breath, because White Dragons are icy. And they're the more feral of all the chromatics. In that, I mean, we've seen White Dragons before. We've seen 2 White Dragons before in previous campaign. The one I don't remember the name of when they were in Illustra, the cap, whatever continent that was, and then Vorugal. But they need to figure out to find a white dragon, which they spend some time doing, I guess.
A lot.
Mhm.
There's a lot of mini things that happen, and it all leads up to that.
Rhyme Fang. Thank you.
So we do get Mika's character right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
She
Which is
comes
good.
in with our precious new baby Rini, because quote Matt, he didn't want another Nicole Stevens. But she is a friend of Umi, because we are picking up straight after this cloaked figure came up to them, and she's known Umi for about 4 years. It's her friend. She likes to have sleepovers with him and help him plant flowers, and they bake. And it's super cute, and he
But-
just kind of rolls his eyes and is like, "Don't
And
tell
embarrassed,
everyone.
yeah.
Will you stop?"
I love
no one can
Umi.
call him Umi.
And no one else can call him Umi but her.
So
I mean-
we're all gonna call him Umi.
Well, I mean, it's the Mighty Nine's way to
He is just a
disrespect boundaries.
precious little dwarf man, and I love
Uh-huh.
him. I want
Me
he like
too.
collects all these like sweet little things, and, like he's teaching the 1 out of 4.
Oh yeah, that was, his apprentice is so perfect. So good. I love this town. I love this mix that Matt has
Yes.
put with dwarves and elves.
Because we don't have any of those in the party. We don't have any dwarves or elves in the party.
When is
So-
someone gonna play it? That's all I gotta say. Dwarves are good.
I
Dwarves are
agree.
good. Play them more. But I like this. Normally, 2 opposing forces in like fantasy in general, dwarves and elves, not so
Coming
friendly
together to
towards
make
each
some
other.
dwelves.
And they make some dwelves, which I love.
They make some dwelves.
And I love that in their dwelling, the dwelvish place that they're in,
Cultures. Yeah.
they've dwelled deep down. I'm gonna milk this. Roll an insight check on my milking of the dwelves. Anyway,
Roll for psychic damage.
Look. I have one thing,
Look.
and it's this. Yeah,
Do-
I've
What
lost
kind of
track.
ASMR do we think Rini is?
I
You
mean,
know
with
she's
the
not
Halo, and she made a comment about when they mentioned Ashley's character. Oh my god,
Yasha.
my brain, Yasha. Jeez,
Gotcha.
my
She's
brain.
been away so long.
Well, and then they made a
It's been
mention of
15
her.
years.
Rini had some very. I think that was like the first. Was that the first time we got the idea that Rini's lines were very defined?
Kind of.
Because I remember
Like,
coming into
if
it a
your
little.
friend's evil, I have to kill her. And
Yeah,
you're
I
like, yeah,
remember coming
no,
into it and be like,
just
oh
okay.
no, Rini has lines.
Yeah.
This is not a good group to be in,
If
Rini.
your friend's evil, I have to kill her.
You were doing so well until you said you had lines, and now.
Oh boy, are you gonna find out what the M9 is all about? Yes.
Yes.
I mean, I think probably.
She could be protector or scourge because when they said, "Do you have wings?" she said no.
Yeah.
So only protectors have wings.
Mhm.
Scourges don't. But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we won't know until we get into
Both of them don't like evil things.
No.
Some
Nope.
are kind of like must kill evil things.
Yeah. So.
We'll see probably in battle.
Yeah, since they will be going into that.
Yeah. It was
We could talk about it when we
interesting.
get to it, but I was so disappointed that they didn't want to take a goat ride.
Or just polymorph someone into a white dragon and be done with it.
Would that work though?
I don't.
Baby
I
white
think,
dragon, little one, young white dragon.
I mean, don't go looking for. Well, we're jumping ahead.
What Matt and I discussed later. Somebody brought it up as a question. It's like, you think they can just turn them and polymorph someone into a young white dragon?
Was it Dizzy?
Which is
that
challenge
asked that
6.
question?
I think it was Dizzy to obtain the breath.
That'd be interesting. I've never thought of that. Good job, Dizzy.
That's thinking outside the box. I like it. You get DM inspiration.
You
Tell
get
your DM that you can have DM inspiration.
yes.
We, a podcast that talks about Dungeons and Dragons, said so.
Has given you yes.
Yes. So with the addition of this new temporary party member, they go back to their to Rini's house and see that, hey, look, she has a house as well, which is cool. And they get to kind of talk a little bit more about her and what she's done, and just learn a little bit more before they have to realize they need to take their next steps. Because if Rini has been hearing from her angel patron sort of thing, that's not a warlock patron, but angel, that just the words white dragon just keep popping up and flashing, not to do anything with it, just white dragon, then obviously she's supposed to go too. And it just
So rechecking on D&D Beyond, Protector Asimar does specifically mention from a young age of Protector Asimar receives advice and directives that urge to stand against evil. So that's the way I'm leaning.
I would say so too, because she talks a lot about protection.
Samliel. Yep.
And she
And
talks a lot
Samliel, her angel buddy.
Well, and the fact that she has a halo.
Yeah.
That it's always there.
Yeah. She talks a lot about protecting the people here in house. She has to go out of her way to protect the people here, even if it's not in her own best interest, which leads to probably one of what I think one of the most important conversations later on in the episode.
Well, it's an interesting character to bring in too, especially when they have some sort of divine benefactor that's giving them advice. In that,
usually, devas, whatever you pronounce it. I can't ever say it right. They are usually their guides.
So like, I mean, we know the overarching story that we think is brewing in this is these demons trying to bring back all these deceiver gods, and we learn a lot of lore about the gods. And there's so like the best thing about this whole episode is the NPCs that we get to meet.
Yeah.
Because Matt again pulls out some wonderfully weirdos.
Academic weirdos.
And we get to spend some time in a book thing where we learn a lot of things. And then we also, towards the end, we learn a lot about Rini and the Seveler Wood. And there's a lot of things that are tying back to the Seveler Wood, too. which is definitely
Important.
going to. Yeah, I think the Seveler would. I mean, as much as it's been mentioned, and the fact that the sword is tied to it. And we
And the
learned that there's
elves,
been
and
and we learned that there's been multiple like excursions out there that Rini has been a part of, and yeah, there's oh man,
so much,
there's
so
so much.
much.
Yeah.
All the
So
lines are starting to connect. They're
Yeah.
going. They're twisting and turning.
So some of my favorite parts of things that we learned within like all of the studying is well, first of all, the thing that actually happened that caused such a commotion while studying was the page within a book in a library. Like, I just thought that was a really cool ad, and I want to know, just from Matt's point of view, did he plan this? Did he know that they might go to a library, and did he know that
He
they might
planned
find a
this.
page?
He always has.
Or
He
do
has
you think
all
he
of
pulled
this
that out
stuff.
of his head, like right at the end, and
No.
maybe like during the break he thought of what could be there?
I
No.
mean,
You
knowing
have to-
Mercer, he has these things.
Yeah, he may not have had it planned exactly for this,
Yeah,
but he may have had it planned like, oh, somewhere
it's
next
probably
time they go
been
find
on
a
his.
book,
Yeah.
like, here's a cool thing that's gonna
Yeah,
happen.
it's probably been on his arsenal to toss in when the moment is appropriate. Because I mean, we even get the fact how many things he prepared for them taking a goat ride
Yeah.
east. So I mean, he's got arsenals that he can pull from if the moment. And I think this was probably one of those. I mean, I don't know how Mercer plans, and I can't say that he has everything planned, but he sort of is creepily prepared for anything. Because he's had a lot of years of experience at this, so it's probably been on a list waiting for the right moment to get to the right place. And the fact that it was a transmutation book, and the way he described it as like this transmutation book has,
Yeah.
I mean, let's talk about the library since we're like talking about it.
Even though the other thing came first.
Which thing came first?
Ava. Madam
Oh,
Ava.
right. Let's
Going
talk
out.
about them going to find Mithril
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
basically a
Everywhere they can.
hoarder's.
So at first they're at Rini's house. They decide, hey, we're gonna go hit Madame Ava, and then we'll go to the Spire. And we get them going to Madame Ava's, which is called the Prospect Post, something to that nature.
Yeah, because she turns it into the penis post or something like that.
Yeah.
Jester.
I
But
forget
yeah,
what it's called right now off the top of my head. It's something to that effect.
The plexus post.
Plexus Post. Yes, thank you. And we get Jester pulling another one of her little pranks because it's funny. We do get Rini also warning them that Ava's mean because she doesn't like the flower crowns that Rini likes to give out to everybody, which is just a super cute little image.
Ava's not
And they
really.
get it. Huh?
Well, Ava's not really as mean, as more as
Shouldn't
an
just not
eclectic
friendly.
collector of things.
Mm-hmm.
And she's got green hair and a green mustache.
Yes,
And I love it.
I loved everything about it. I loved this weird. Because I pictured sort of, at the end of Indiana Jones, uh,
The big temple warehouse.
the warehouse full of like secret things, but
Mhm.
this was just like all
They're all in
unboxed.
boxes.
But this was just like, or like I don't know how many people have been in like a library's like collection room or a museum's collection room that's not stuff on display, that's just their storage. It's just a mess of like things.
Oh my god.
Things.
Archives are crazy.
Yeah, archives are crazy. It's just shelves and shelves of just things, and this felt a lot like an archive of just random stuff on random shelves. But Ava has a system and knows the system, and no one else does. And already when they got in there, I mean, they asking for mithril. They had managed to get a bunch of junk mithril, not junk mithril, but like
Yeah,
mithril
she
that I
can make
wouldn't
that
think would
already
be
made.
in thing. Like Matt had described these trinkets and teacups and things that were just mithril, and I never would have thought that. I should have, because the rich
Fancy
want
people
like
like
fancy
things.
people like weird fancy things. And look, I'm
Mhm.
drinking out of a really strong light metal.
Hey, it could have been some fancy dwarf family.
Could have been. Could have been.
They were family heirlooms before they ended up in that lady's shop.
That's true. That's true. He had a,
So they find a way to get mithril from her. And they also come across a couple other little fun things in the shop, including 2 imps.
Yep. Her guards, I imagine.
Yeah, like don't steal her stuff. There are 2 imps watching you who can speak common and know that you're trying to steal shit. And the echo stones,
Yeah, because
which are the
Caduceus
blue
lights up.
squishy things.
Caduceus
Yeah,
puts on the detect magic and just like, things just light up. And those echo stones were a really neat thing. I loved them.
yep.
Like a little squish,
What?
record, throw.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we also get Clay asking about the residuum.
Yes.
And
Yes.
she does come back with some of the residuum, and we get another tie into another character because it is confirmed that this is the creepy crystals that were
Glass.
being
Yeah.
jammed into Caleb's arm, guys. We said it a while ago. P.S. We know it.
And this is the green glass that the Briarwoods were making. Like,
Mhm.
This is
so good.
big. And this is kind of what I've been waiting for in the campaign, where things start to connect, not just within this own campaign with things in backstories, but also cross campaign, because there were things that were still never answered in campaign 1.
Well, and obviously
That
Whitestone has turned this into a
Export business.
export. Yeah, the Whitestone has been exporting and making money off of the fact that not
They
refined
do
residuum, but
yeah, they do mention that they have specific people that they will sell to, that they
yeah.
don't sell to just everyone.
Well, that makes
So,
sense too. But I just
yeah,
love that that's
but
like
the fact that it ended up with Trent is terrifying.
mhm.
Mhm. I wonder.
Cannot wait for Mr. Briarwood to show up again
Oh,
because he's
man, I hope he's
gonna.
out there
I hope
behind.
Silas comes back. I am just
Oh, I hope
hoping
he's
and
out
wishing and
there.
praying because he's the one who told everybody about this green shit. I'm betting.
Mhm. I have to also assume, what, 20 years for a vampire isn't much at all. He probably wouldn't have aged. Like I and it just makes me interesting. The players are gonna have a conniption when it happens, and they're gonna have to figure out.
I want him back.
Yeah, like people like some are gonna want to kill him immediately, and then they're gonna realize, wait, my character has no motivation to do that.
I try not to
Right?
metagame
And then they're
that.
gonna have to team up with him. They're gonna have to team up with him to take down Dwendal.
Oh, there's so much.
And that would be so good, because how could you not metagame against a vampire? Oh, that you knew in a previous life, as
There
it were.
apparently are records of them, ex Lobo. There are apparently some records of the Briarwood in Wildmount as well as Ripley, but we haven't been able to run across it. It was mentioned, I believe, a while, not necessarily in this game, but Matt has said a couple things that the Briarwoods had a small estate. I don't know if it's still standing or not before they were run out, and that Ripley surely would have had research and a place in Rexingtrum because she was pretty high ranked before this all happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there could still
So
be
I
context.
am betting there is stuff. If they had done enough exploration in Wildmount, I'm thinking they were gonna find some of the Briarwoods. Maybe the Briarwoods were from the north near the Savalier Wood.
Ooh.
Like
Well,
as far north from the Empire as you could go. Ooh. Yes, Kate is evil. Thank you,
it always
Neverwinter
has
Fool, for
been.
finally acknowledging that. It's been the way it's been.
I'm kind of also. I like Axe Lobo's question. Was Delia Briarwood a former Scourger? That's a
I
thought.
don't think it would have been her. I think anyone with a Scourger relation would have been Ripley, and it would have been more on the end of trying to develop them in the very, very early stages. Um, Ripley's timeline seems to fit fairly good with Trent's. We also don't know all of the
Trent's an
names.
elf, though, right? Trent an elf? Because it was an elderly elf, or was it? Or is Trent a wizard?
Trent Ickathon.
I forget,
I can find out.
but her placement in her timeline and her specific research, which was trying to weapon was she was she biochem kind of?
I think it was sort of biochem.
I think she was more biochem,
Necro.
which she wasn't pure necromancy, but she was trying to
Yeah.
do
Anyway,
all this crazy bad stuff. And her type of study would have lined up really well with Trent's. She could have been doing the research in general on residuum and its uses in people, and Trent kind of just picked it up and ran with it when she got kicked out. Just bad
So,
stuff, man.
so to answer the question, Trent Ichthon is a human in the 70s of age.
right, wrong crowd. Anyway, before we
Yes.
So
digress
at
too
least
crazy,
25 years
um,
back.
they get stuff from Ava. They get
get
metal
lots of
from
stuff.
Ava. They get about
Squishy stones.
a bar and a half of mithril when they take it back to Umi to smelt into a useful bar. And then they know that somehow they have to get it. Oh, yeah. What else did they
One
get?
more thing that they got in Ava's shop. A quest.
Oh,
Yeah,
right. She
that's
wants
a
a
thing.
ring back.
She supposedly had a ring stolen from her
She paid
that
for.
she paid for, and now somehow this rich family of nobles have ended up with it.
Intercepted it, I imagine.
Yeah, and she wants them to steal that possession back.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Won't tell them what the ring does.
Nope. She
Kinda
mentioned it was
uses
like a
magic.
spiral thing, and
Yeah, it has a red spiral. It's really pretty, but she gives the directions on like, hey, their house is over there, and they have like dual balconies on the second floor. You can't miss it. And everybody's like, okay.
yeah, they don't bite on that right away.
Well,
Well,
yeah,
not
they don't bite
want
on it right away, but this is supposedly going to help them get the residuum.
they want. They
Yeah,
think they
and
need to help with the smelting.
to whatever the Wild Mother wants out of
Yeah,
that,
the cleansing of the
they
Savalier wood.
need that. Yeah. As much
This
as they
isn't for the
need
sword.
this as much as they need the stuff for the sword, I almost think that the Wild Mother quest is more important. So it was kind of like a decision point for them. What do we want to try to do first? And they chose we want the sword because we think that the bigger quest is more important at this point. Like the bigger in scope quest than just the Savalier Wood. But the Savalier Wood gets brought up so many times this episode that it makes me question.
Well, the sword was oh god, it was. We actually have a question about this.
Yeah.
Where
We
is
do.
it? Just how dangerous are the woods around Clay's home? The elves were driven out, the Star Razor was sundered there, and Rini is the only one to survive out of the research party sent there. And I can't tell who sent that in.
Yeah, so this question comes up this question comes after a conversation with
Well,
her elf friend, which is
well,
I think
the question
important.
I gave
Yeah.
was from our form. So
No,
from
I
our
no,
form,
I know, but
I
I know.
wanted to give the spiel.
Yeah.
Hey guys, we have a form. Just FYI, questions can be given out there. If you have anything you want to share with us going forward, that's where to hit us up.
Hmm.
It is on our Twitter, and we just spammed it in chat.
So, this question,
Can you
back.
see who?
I can't.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I can't tell who it is.
No.
I don't know if it's Q, useless rogue, or dizzy by nature, or someone else with no name. But yes, it's a good question. There's a lot going on with the Savalier Wood.
Hmm.
There is a lot. And I think part of the timing of them deciding to do the sword with the sword's connection to the Savalier Wood is also because they have a guest. And this quest is tied to her. So let's do that one while she's here.
Hmm. Makes sense. It definitely, this question as well, with learning that Rini had gone to the Savalier Wood, comes from, in my opinion, the most one of the most compelling conversations this episode, which was when Rini was talking to her elf friend, whose name I can't remember.
Fen.
I'm sorry,
Fen.
Fen, in the barracks, and like they just have the really big disagreement. But you learn more that there was an expedition to the Savalier Wood, and only that she returned, and like uh, Fen was not happy that that she would put herself in danger. And I just think that that whole conversation revealed a lot about the personality of Rini and her very distinct lines between what she thinks she should do versus what will keep her protected.
Yep.
Yeah.
So after Madame Ava's, I don't think it's Madame Ava. I think it's just Ava. I just call her Madame Ava because it's
Curse of
what they
Strahd.
had.
It sounds good together, Madam Ava.
That's when they had to the Spire. We also get to find out that they haven't given Rini their names yet, so she's made up all these fake little names for them, like Mr. Coatman and Pinky and stuff. That was super cute. But yes, we as along the talk, they
Well-
figure out that Rini's met the Ruby of the Sea
When she was
super
younger,
cute.
yeah.
When she
Also,
was very young.
to deal with the fact that no one has mentioned their names yet, like
Yeah,
they talk about the Savalier Woods so much, and no one mentions that Clay and his family are guardians of the
Right.
Savalier Wood the whole time. That's where Clay is from.
That's where my temple is.
Yeah.
You're a religious kind of person.
So this
you
was
understand.
this was a question that we also got in our forum. Like, Reedy used to go to Savalier Wood, but so far no one has told her that Clay lives there. It's not really a question. I guess it's more of like a question yelling into the void, because yes, they have not. But do we ever expect them to?
No.
No.
They were very focused on the Dragon Quest this episode, and obviously for reasons that they have their guest who is part of that, but also backstory into the other quests. They don't really talk about it, and it just kind of shows how much they put into making sure that this Dragon Quest is very expedited.
So they head to the Spire to find out some information, and it's going to cost them a lot of money
A very
to read some books.
expensive library. I mean, like,
Yeah.
these people.
It's a research hall, sir. It is not a library.
Yeah, well, it's a research hall, and I love it that they're like, yeah, no, you get one book, and it's 10 gold an hour.
Yep.
That's a lot of money.
They gotta
Like,
make their. Hey, research isn't cheap.
I agree.
Even
with
in
you.
today's society, finding grants is a fucking pain, and this is a.
Yeah, but imagine going to a place if in real life and having to pay $1,000 for an hour. That's in my opinion, that's the equivalent of 10 gold or something around that, and that's a lot.
Mine's like $100. I'm so far off. No, but even so, you have to consider this is like this place that's far off. Their import fees are expensive. Trying to get books up there.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
these
rough.
are. This is a remote, like. I mean, this is like going to Alaska and expecting to like live, like Barrow, Alaska, and then you want certain things. So yeah, I mean, I'm fine. I mean, the thing, see, I don't think
fine,
that
yeah.
at 10 gold, D&D economy is weird.
Yeah, it's very weird.
I will
To
figure this out
adventurers,
10
10 gold isn't that much.
correct.
To a
Especially when
low
they're walking
person,
around with 2,000 in their purse.
yeah. I mean, when you're dealing with like adventurers as you get to a higher level, like that's nothing.
Nothing.
It's Ben, if you want to do a paper on D&D currency, I will read it.
Okay, cool.
And the equivalency of 10 gold to modern 2019 dollars. I will read the shit out of
to
that.
read some books.
Yeah, it's expensive to read some
Still
books.
expensive.
And I love
The
that
auditors.
the auditors were assholes, sort of. But I also love that the M9 were their typical assholiness. And Bo just digging the Cobalt Soul stuff was just so good, because Saturn's like, yeah, right, fine, the Cobalt Souls, that's nice. You know, but they're like a giant organization and they want to give information freely. We're not all like that. Some of us need to work and make a living off of this. And just how she kept digging Cobalt Soul, like, can we work out a deal? And like, I can't imagine. And I like how she found out that there was a Cobalt Soul and she thought that would be a useful connection. When
She just wants to talk about the moon.
she's just such a different tier of Cobalt Soul Bow, being a totally different tier, and in the secret expositors, whereas you forget that the rest of your organization is just a lot of nerds dealing with books. It's a lot of librarians that don't want to deal with people. Oh, this moon stuff got me so good. Like,
loved it.
you know what I would do in this world? The minute Matt had tried to do this and I knew the teleport, I would try to teleport to the moon. I bet there's something up there. But there's something up
made
there.
of cheese, Dustin. It is made of cheese.
No, I bet there's something up there.
Whitestone, I want some cheese.
Do you know what I want out of a D&D campaign?
Moon full of cheese.
To go to the moon. I want there to be moon stuff.
Well, there's 2 moons.
There are
You
2
can
moons.
pick a moon here.
I want the secret moon. Secret moons are the best moons.
Isn't that the bonus level to the regular moon, though? Like, don't you have to get through some of the regular moon to get to the warp pipe?
The secret moon is where the boss is. I'm just saying. Moon travel in a fantasy D&D campaign is my thing, guys.
Moon elves.
Moon elves. Moon civilizations. Oh, magic moon elves. Sorry.
We're getting so off track.
We are, the Mighty Nine, we are on...
That was basically our moon conversation in the game too.
Well, because we don't get a lot of talk about this, and Matt has mentioned the moon before, because the
they
players.
Went through the whole first campaign not knowing there were 2 moons.
Yeah, because remember when they're like, "Wait, there's moons," and Matt was like, "I know I've mentioned this, but yes, there are moons.
Plural, 2 moons.
There are 2 moons." And I loved all of the moon lore that we did get, and I loved little nerd moon Cobalt Soul person.
The Mid-Sun Lash. Good little name.
So good.
Good little gnome.
I love gnomes as much as I love dwarves.
As much? Whoa.
Okay, well, dwarves, elves, gnomes.
Ooh.
They're still up there.
There's
There's not a lot of points in between if I were to rank them on a point system. They're all very close.
Got it.
But you play with rocks and you drink beer and you have beards, that's always going to win. So,
agree.
Dwarves first. Anyway.
It does take them a while to get in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have to pull every string they have, basically.
And then find another string and pull it too.
And one might assume that when you work so hard to get into a place, you try hard to stay in there.
Oh,
but the moral compasses of the group leave after some time. We get some good... Everyone gets a book. You can only have one at a time. The minute they went to touch another one, someone came and took the other book away, which I love these guys. I just love the guys. And we got a bunch of lore drops from different types of stuff, if we want to talk about that stuff.
Yep. Bo got a book on mythological creatures. Caleb took a book on transmutative magic. Clay got a picture book. Ford got a book on gods and goddesses. I think you said that focused pre-calamity?
Yeah, it was pre-calamity stuff.
Not took an alchemical one. Rini had a book on poison, so they kind of had similarly shared information. And then Caleb kind of forces Jester to get a book on arcane magic. And Bo
that conversation. So
Bo almost trades the smut. One of the smuts. For a discount, and then was like, screw it, I'm taking the smut back. Here's 10 gold.
But we get some good lore drops from all of that. And then some of the people who aren't big on reading. I mean, was there anything good from the lore that we want to talk about? I mean, we got a lot of pre-calamity. We got a lot about the gods talking before the Divine Gate was put up.
they learn a little bit. Rini learns a little bit more about the poisons. Nock is able to learn a little bit more about how to make potions. So hopefully that may in the future help defray some
yeah.
costs
Yep.
of supplies, which would be nice.
Mhm.
Jester learns that her doggy likes ground up nuts or something.
Yeah,
ground
like
nuts for a healthy
a nut
diet.
meal for a healthy diet. Yep.
Which, because he's part fae.
I love that. It was so cute.
I
I like
do
that she
too,
then
it's so
sends it
cute.
to Yash or Yeza.
Yeza.
Be like,
Yeza.
please. I know there's too many similar sounding names. To just like, oh, by the way, he likes nuts. Please feed him nuts.
Yes, your wife says hi.
And then Caleb gets the transmutive, but
Transmuted
then
magic.
finds a page that seems to be mysterious and covered in transmutive magic, which, once the moral compasses get tired of reading and leave, they leave.
Oh.
It's like just leaving your toddlers in a candy
Mhm.
store
Mm-hmm.
because Caleb wants that page, and now they have to figure out a way to do that page. Which, what was the code name? Was it modern literature? No,
No, that was a
that
previous
was a
one.
different one. I can't
Yeah,
remember
I
what
forget
the
what the code name. I'll find it. But you keep
because
going.
they triggered the code word for one of their scams,
Yeah.
which is the shoot him, but shoot him in the book that no one knows that's there, to cause a distraction. Like they couldn't have come up with something less.
Chaotic?
I mean, you could go to
Dumb?
jail. That's like attempted murder, right? I mean,
Yeah.
whether you're friends or not, firing an arrow at your friend
In a public space.
in a public space, I feel like,
Well, private, semi-private,
well,
semi-public.
still,
Semi-public.
with witnesses
With witnesses.
who don't have any context for why all of a sudden you're reading 1 minute, the next minute you take out a crossbow and shoot the person you came in with.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yep.
it misses the book and
Gets
hits
Caleb.
Caleb. They do get the page, but they also get kicked out.
Yeah.
Forever.
But not before Bo does get some information on a white dragon.
They do get information on a white dragon. They learn about a 200-year-old story.
Plus.
200 plus.
Tale of an ancient white dragon. Which they seem
Mhm.
to forget that they mentioned it was ancient. And
Yeah,
they're like, yeah, he's 100 years old. Yeah, no.
It's not the dragon you want to go fight.
No, Gillidan, the Nightmare of Ivory.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
that sounds like something you want to kill.
You
fighting
can
a dragon,
try.
fighting an ancient dragon is hard, as we all know from previous campaigns.
Mhm.
Ancient before the word dragon is not a combination you want to be going up against, especially not in a place where it lives. Lairs are bad, everyone. Lairs are bad.
Mhm.
Lair actions,
Uh-huh.
not good. Anyway, they got that information. They get kicked out because they left the kids alone. And chaos ensued.
Yeah.
I mean, it was great chaos, but
Yeah.
also gives me an ulcer.
It doesn't say anything on crit roll stats about exactly what the code word was, but I just like that Not says, "You know what this is for," and just shoots.
Yep.
It was both cringeworthy and laughable, and I enjoyed that.
I mean, that's what they do best. Is me
Yes,
going,
they do.
you idiots, no, stop, please, no,
No, stop.
no,
No.
stop. But yeah, it's just
No.
like Willy Wonka.
So yeah, so they do rejoin up. Yeah, the Mithril Bar, Smelt It by Umi.
Oh, you know what we haven't talked about this whole time?
What?
We haven't
What?
talked about the fact that Rini has a horribly kept secret.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Because she
which is
uses her
why-
influence as knowing the mysterious hero of Uthadurn. That now I don't remember the name.
The something. Evanescence.
Yeah, wake me up.
Wake me up inside.
Everness or something like that. Anyway,
Yeah.
she has been protecting people around the city as animals. Eva East.
Eva East.
but most people know that it's, as we slowly learn, that
Sure.
most people know that it's Rini because she's not good at keeping it a secret.
And it still has a halo and
Yeah,
like
I
glowing
mean-
yellow eyes.
People don't put, I mean, people put that together, but yeah, but everyone just kind of goes like along with. We just learn a lot about Rini through the whole course, and eventually when we get to Fen, we learn that information, and they go back to the Spire later, and we learn some stuff that she makes deals, and we're like, oh, okay. But she's a hero, but she's been, you know, everyone wants her to be safe, but she keeps putting herself in not safe situations. And almost everyone that knows her is just like, you need to stop. But she won't.
You're going to get yourself killed.
Mhm.
She's going off with these dingleberries.
Certainly.
Especially when it's an ancient white dragon. So,
So they
but they
get back.
do some stuff to mitigate the total damage that they're being dealt throughout the entire track.
Well, okay, so here's my thing. They learn how far away this white dragon is. He's clear on the
350 miles.
he's clear on the eastern side of the mountains, which is about a 12-day goat ride.
18 days on foot, 12 days on goat back.
Yeah. Which I
If
was
they
like,
go
yeah,
through
take
the
the
mountain.
goats if
If
they
they
go
go through the mountain.
through the mountain. And it's an arduous task, and they do a thing that I think could shoot the like they're
Bite them in the ass
yes
later. Yeah, I was not I would never have made this decision. Like in a D&D campaign to rely on an NPC's teleportation ability just because you know someone powerful to ask them again to use it on you when they don't have any personal stake in it anymore.
It's sort of treating a person that you have a slight connection with. You're not best friends with this person. Because they ask him a lot. They ask him to save the Scourger from execution or stay the execution until they can come see them. And then they ask him to be a mode of transportation for him, which he comes right out and saying, like, I'm not here just to, teleport you all across the world. And it's, I mean, you're straining a relationship.
It's yeah. I worry about what he's gonna ask in return. At least the first teleportation time that he did it, the Bright Queen knew about it. The
Yeah,
Bright Queen was like, "Please do this for me because you have the power to transport them because they think this is gonna help, so I give you permission."
yeah. And
That's less. But then
it's
going back
assuming
and
you have a carte
asking,
blanche to just,
Right.
request on the behest of yes, Kate.
Matt
Yeah.
did say they are putting themselves further and further in debt to him.
Yeah.
Like, this is going to be cashed in. However, depending on how certain persuasion rolls can be handled, I can clearly see this as Caleb leaning on them, like leaning on Essex, being like, "Oh, so we don't have to bother you anymore. How about you just teach me that?"
Mm,
Oh,
because
but that could
you
be
know why I want that?
bad.
It could be real bad, but when did that stop these assholes?
You know why I want that to be a thing is because I want a bad teleportation.
Oh God, yes.
I was really upset that they rolled really high again because I know it's at 74 because it's 75 and above and you're in. I just want them to fuck themselves over and end up on the opposite side of the world.
Intel Dore. Shit.
I want them to bounce around for a while, get damaged, and then get stuck somewhere else. Oh, it's so good. I mean, I know they could just
It would be amazing.
teleport circle back, but
Yeah, it would have been interesting to see Rini stuck somewhere where she's like, "Oh, you told me this was gonna get us to where we need to go. Oh, now I can't complete my mission because of you."
But I mean, they convince him. They stop by the house. They show Rini, the Jor house. They talk to Dyron a little bit. Say that they're going after a dragon. Even I think Essek even said, you guys are gonna run away, dragon. You should know that it's okay to
Bad
run.
idea.
And when the DM through an NPC reminds
Twice.
you more than once
Mhm.
that if things go bad, run.
Mhm.
Multiple NPCs, because Dyron gave the same
Yeah.
speech to Bo.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
run.
Run.
Well, I don't want to abandon them. Okay, well then convince them to run.
Yeah. Everyone should run. Like, I mean, that's because it's easy when you're in D&D as a player to just think you're gods and you're invincible. And it's sometimes the DM has to remind you that you are not.
Mhm.
No,
And especially when you're just trying to get, all you need is it to breathe on something. All you need is to go in, get it mad, and then get out.
major image something like over the block and like make him think it's food.
Yeah, have him come out of the lair, blow on a thing, and then get the fudge out of there. Have a good
Yes.
plan, which is what I'm also
Yes.
afraid of, is because they don't do that.
They don't do that.
They don't do that well, nor do they know exactly what this white dragon's going to do. If they try to, for some reason, talk with the white dragon and be like, hey, I need you to do one thing for me, blow on this, he could be like, nah,
Well,
and
that's
then
the other
just
thing with
steal.
whites, though, too, is they're not as talky as some of the other chromatics.
Nope.
They are
Yeah.
very territorial. I mean, all of the dragons are territorial, but whites are very at the bottom of the
They're the most
intelligence
feral.
change.
Mhm.
Yeah, they are more feral than any of their other chromatic kin, and not easily talked to. Because I think Rhymefang was not a good talker. Borogal was definitely not a good talker.
Mhm.
They are rough and tumble ice dragons. Not good.
I love dragons. Know who also I love? Fen. I loved Fen. I felt bad for her
Oh,
because she
we learn like there's the connection between her and Rini, and it's just that whole conversation was so.
like I don't want you to go do it.
I,
don't
I,
want
I
you to
kept
go
going.
do
Listen
it.
to her, Rini. Listen to her. Like
And when she
The
says,
most important conversation in the episode, in my opinion,
yeah.
was that conversation.
And then when she said later, she's like, "Oh yeah, she saved me, and I thought that this was going to be the person I was going to marry, but she got mad because I kept going on things, and then I went into the Savalier Wood, and and everybody else died. I'm like, oh my bye,
oh,
bye.
that's so good.
And the Mighty Nine still don't mention anything there.
Nope. Well, then they go back to try and get a little bit more information or whatever.
Yeah, so they go back into the steeple to figure out about the teleportation circle. So
Yeah.
we get Bo
So
and
they can
Rini
come
doing
back.
a little bit more. Yeah, Bo and Rini basically strike a deal with the warden. And it's 200 platinum. Yeah,
It's a
200
lot.
platinum, and Rini's got a 6-month contract to go in with them into the Savile Ward. I can't talk.
Savalier.
Savalier Wood.
Savalier Wood. There we go.
And they know, like, they were there for that conversation with Fen, and they now know that and that was like a thing that that you're just signing her life away, and you know that she's been in there before, and she's the only one that has come back, and now you're putting this person in this position.
She's like, I didn't want to do it, but I had to. I was like, oh no,
Oh!
baby!
Oh, I could just hear
Go
the
hug
professor
those adorable
just going
magical
like,
otters that are apparently everywhere in here.
those magical
Oh,
otters.
So good.
I want to cosplay one of those otters so badly.
Do it.
Oh
Like
my
at
god.
PAX U, I just want to have a bunch of people dressed up as magic otters, and people have no idea what we are.
I mean, if I was going to PAX U, I'd be down.
I know.
I'd be down. So, um,
But they get to
Spirit-
see what the teleportation circle looks like, so now Caleb has that in his head, and they are able to jump back to Rosanna. Meet up with
Yeah,
Essex, who my mother thought sounded like Antonio Banderas as Puss in Boots from Shrek.
Oh, yes,
Sure.
Nancy.
That was my Nancyism for tonight. She's like, "Oh, are you watching Shrek?" No, mom.
Oh, I love you, Nancy.
I mean, Critical Role is basically Shrek if you think about it.
Well, Shrek too, but
Yeah.
except Puss in Boots. No, mom.
So we get Fun Shrek 2 fact. I leaned over to the person I was in that movie theater with and said, spoilers, she's an ogre. Like the first 20 minutes of that movie because I saw it. I just knew. I got in trouble. Anyway, they get a successful teleport to where
Yes.
they're going.
Yes.
And Dusty was sad because I
Oh.
like when spells go wrong.
Yeah.
We
Well,
also do get the solution to Caleb's page.
We do get the solution to Caleb's
Ooh.
page.
Because Ezek just goes, dispel magic.
Yep.
And it's like, plop, plop, plop. 2 bags and a case fall out.
Did
Which
we
is
actually-
crazy because transmutation is the
I love it.
best.
Yeah.
I love
I mean,
it.
that's
It's
my
so
second
cool.
favorite. Well, no, it goes evocation, abjuration, transmutation are my 3 favorite wizard classes.
It was super cool. And he's just like, oh, okay, thanks.
And then puts them away. Doesn't look at them.
Yeah, because they're literally on their way to go find a dragon. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
assuming before they fall asleep, he's gonna open.
Yeah,
them.
that's going to be the first thing he's going to do at night, and
Yeah.
we'll get all of that hoarded by him because
'Cause
I want to know
He
what's in
did
there.
say he was planning on using dispel later that night once they were settled down if he had spell slots. So
Yeah. Also, watch that one of them is trapped, and it's gonna one or all the
Oh,
things
yeah.
that fell out of that page are trapped, and then they have to
100%.
go in with a disadvantage into the whole
I'd be very
dragon
like
fight.
I want to be oh
That's why they're doing it the night before, so that
Ben.
if anything does happen, they have the night to clear it up too.
I wish we knew
Mhm.
who wrote that book. I wish we knew the
Yeah!
author of that book.
Well, he should know. He should know with
He
his
should
memory.
know. But I
So we
I
might get
wish
that lore
yeah,
drop
I hope
next
that he asks that question because hopefully that book is I mean it's not necessarily tied to that author or whatever, but it could have been someone else that messed with the book over time, but maybe there's some information in the stuff. Either way, like that's just an ingenious idea to like hide things. Matt
I
comes
loved
up with
it.
some of the best stuff.
I wonder if he was like walking through like a home goods store and saw like those
Yeah, the
that
books
are
that are
actually
fake.
like the hidden
Yeah,
yeah.
I feel
He's
like that.
"Oh,
I
I'll
would have
find
had that
that with
idea. I'm like,
magic."
oh, that would like how would you make that with magic? It always makes me think every time Matt does something that I'm like, oh, that's genius. I start seeing the world just a different way and just, well, how can magic, how can magic make my life easier? Not that I don't think that all the time, because I do a lot, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I also loved Matt's description of the mountain when they did get where they were going.
Oh yeah.
There was this one that is just unnatural and jagged ice scape with vines growing up of it of
Yeah, and
blue
that
ice, like
cave,
spiraling
yeah.
web. Oh, that there's but he called it a mouth, and I actually thought it was
Yeah.
the dragon at first.
I was like, a
"Oh,
dragon?
no!"
I know. I just
So
pictured this
Essex would have
giant
been
dragon
there.
maw of ice, like
Yeah.
coming out the side of the mountain.
Oh, totally. But I was just picturing the actual dragon at first. I was like, oh no, he dropped them right on top of him.
That would have been fun. Evil but fun.
Mythborough is such a cool name, though.
Yeah, I mean, please,
I love it.
these kids.
Mhm.
Yeah, so we get a dragon encounter.
A dragon fight and a
Well,
two,
it could not
second
necessarily
part,
be a fight. It's at least an encounter.
a second part to Rini's guest appearance, which I think Nika should really enjoy that.
Well, yeah, I want to see Mika. I want to see Rini in action.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
Doing the old encountering a dragon.
Doing the old 1-2.
But her
So.
angel has never said to actually kill it. He just said white dragon.
Yeah, that's pretty vague. Because
Flashing
man, I tell you, those
lights.
patrons just like to be vague. Let you figure it
Yeah.
out. But we'll
They need a verb before white dragon. Kill white dragon. Love white dragon.
White Dragon, more information, please.
Yes.
So.
So.
Okay, so we have a couple of other fun questions
Okay.
for the end of this. One though that we'll get out of the way. What if the end product of this Wild Mother quest is something Caleb could use as well? I don't know what we would get, but
Well, the residuum, but
But we don't know what's gonna happen when it's put in the forge. Like all he has all he got for visions was that he puts it in the forge, but we don't know what actually comes out.
Mhm.
So
we'll see.
yep.
So the first one is if your character had a secret superhero identity, what would their heroic alter name be?
Our characters are us.
If
Oh
your
no.
character had a secret
Oh.
superhero
Alright.
Oh, but
I
I
have a
don't
couple
have
characters, so I'll have to go with
character.
just probably Delana, my rogue. I have given her a couple names depending on how things go. Not necessarily superhero, but they could totally be revamped for that. So a couple of her nom de plumes were the White Raven, the Lost Viper, and the Countess.
Thornton would be called the Music Man, and he would just leave beer in places.
Would there be 76 trombones?
I feel that's
He's a what? He's a what?
never actually seen. Anyway, Ben, do you have a superhero alter name?
I don't. I'm not playing any campaign currently. I'm DMing.
Neither am
So,
Pick a character you've
I
played.
picked an old character.
my second
picked a really
character
old
ever
character.
and my favorite character ever, my Aarakocra
Eric, I was gonna
sorcerer
say
Eric.
it's Eric.
Yeah, Eric. Probably having to go with just something really cheesy. 'Cause he's so young. Like just something cheesy but not
Chicken
very
Boo.
great. Like no, like the lightning bird, because that's what he does. He's a lightning bird, so he wants to make it, but it's flashier.
With
So
the in front of it.
The second
yes,
fun
the
question
lightning
is: if you could wild shape and sleep as any animal, which would you choose and why?
cat.
I mean, that's a
Consider-
good because cats are
It would have
liquid.
to be a cat or a dog because you just.
You know what I want? I want to be an otter because you just float.
Will you hold my hand though? Will you?
I
hold
will
my
always
hand?
hold
Will
your
you?
hand and
Dustin,
float
hold
and
my
sleep.
hand. Hold my hand. Hold my hand.
Holding your
Hold
hand.
my hand.
Yes, we did a gag. I love it. I'm holding your hand. Now sleep like you're floating on the water. This is great for the audio people. Anyway, audio podcast.
Man, that was beautiful.
For
Thank
those
you.
listening to the audio podcast,
We're
Dustin
sorry.
and I held hands,
Through the
even though
camera.
he's in California, and I am in Philly. He is
So,
far away.
Philadelphia, born and raised.
Yeah.
I
Thank you
think
for the
that
silly questions. I love answering those kind of things. So
yeah. So
Yeah.
I guess
So much fun.
next week they fight a dragon.
yeah, next week is a time.
Or I guess it's this. I guess this Thursday.
Yeah.
Coming episode.
This coming
This
Thursday.
coming episode.
Yes, they will fight the dragon. Episode 75, I believe, for the campaign 2. So
So did we get an answer to that question I asked before we started?
Nope.
yes, kinda. So one thing about the current podcast, live stream, etc. Next week is going to be our last show. And we are deciding as a group of hosts, our 6 hosts have decided that we are going to be putting Critical Reroll to bed, ending with next week. So if you can join us live at 9 p.m. Eastern next Sunday, the 18th of August, we would love for you to join us and ask us questions. We'll have all 6 hosts here, hopefully, for this. And we will be talking about our time on the podcast, what this has done, and what we are going to be doing in the future of the rest of our lives. But we would love for you to all join us.
You made it sound so dire.
I'm good at that. I don't take anything with a lot of humor. So
It's been a lot of talk and there's been a lot of, and I think there's just a lot of us want to move on and do some other things, and oh god damn it, he's here just enough for that flippin' joke, Abernathy. But yeah, so I mean, it's been hard and it's been a tough decision, but come hang out with us next week.
Because we love you.
We do love you,
Yes.
and you know, it's been a long time. We've enjoyed doing this, but you know, we feel that it's time to kind of move on.
But please join us next week if you can. We will hopefully have all 6 of us here. We will answer questions that are in the chat. If you have questions for us over the next couple weeks, please submit them and we will get them to you. If they're just silly, if they have to do with Critical Role in general, we will try to get to all of them so we can end it off on a very good note for all of you that have been so supportive and wonderful.
Yes, come hang out with us, and we shall talk your ears off one last time.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe make some silly visual gags. So that means definitely come and watch instead of listen.
Oh yeah, no, there will be silly visual gags, 100%. But yeah.
All right. So on that
note, sad epic note, while we ponder the rest of our lives.
We have to go fight a white dragon, guys.
Oh my god! I mean, it'll be a good episode to talk about.
Unless they TPK.
Oh, then it'll be a perfect episode to talk about.
Like, guys, we're done.
It'll be a perfect ending. Did we just jinx it by ending the podcast?
Did we write this show?
Yeah.
Yeah. So come see us next week and see if we talk about 2 things dying. I'm just
and you're
I
telling
love
me not to be morbid.
Well, we started it. We might as well end it.
Yeah.
We love you guys, and we enjoy
So
hanging out
much.
with you. And thank you for listening to this week.
Yes.
I didn't. Don't blame me if I jinxed it. It's not me. It's the universe, and their poor decisions. Anyway, we will see you next week. Until then, I have been Dusty at GeoNerd.
I am Kate, and I have and always will be Sea Monster at Twitter and on Twitch.
Why did I say it in the past tense? That's weird. Okay, Ben.
And I'm Ben. I've been and still am at Bardic Puppy on Twitter. And
I'm obviously going into a cocoon after this and becoming something else.
Butterfly.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
I'm going to leave the mics on because that's a great gag. I love it.
Are you a butterfly like a butterfly high in the sky? You can go twice as high.
I can fly twice as high. Take a look in a book.
Her dad sang that song.
Her dad sang that song? Yeah.
I don't know if he sang it, but
well, I mean, it was his show. He might have sung it. I kickstarted him.
What did you do?
I have a great mug. Reading Rainbow. Copyright infringement.
At this point, doesn't matter.
Matt, just cut all this and put the actual music in. Sorry.
Just make the episode as difficult as possible for